Hey guys, and welcome to yet another episode of Killer Shrew Fans Killer Toy Reviews. Now yesterday I posted a video reviewing the Carnegie T.Rex, and while making that I compared it to another figure that I thought, sort of deserved a closer look. It is the new for 2017 Feathered T-Rex from Safari Limited. Now, this figure is just incredible. I mean, that's coming from a guy who I'm not sure how I feel about a feathered T-Rex because, scientists have not found anything that 100% proves that T-Rex has feathers, so this is a very bold move on Safari's part to make a fully feathered T-Rex. And I gotta say, it paid off. This figure is absolutely insane. You can get it straight from their website at Safari Limited. I will put a link in the description for that. And as you can see, he does come with a little plastic tray just to keep those feet from warping. They did pack it very well, and that's great to see that they care, So without further ado, let's get him out of that thing and take a closer look at this guy. So here he is, out of his plastic tray and standing in all of his glory. And again, I have to just praise this figure right out of the box. I mean, just look at this guy. He is absolutely gorgeous. I mean, I know there are people out there who have issues with the idea of feathering dinosaurs, especially ones where we're not 100% sure if they were feathered or not. For example, the T-Rex. But I gotta say, they did this in such a way that it does not look ridiculous. It doesn't look like the T-Rex has been defanged. It still looks intimidating as all get out, and possibly, maybe more scientifically accurate than any other T-Rex figure out there. I mean, it's just that well done. One thing to note, once you get him, I don't know if mine's just the anomaly, but mine does have some balancing issues. He is very front heavy. I've displayed him on the shelf for a few weeks now, and he has a tendency, the slightest bump will just cause him to face plant, and that's sort of a letdown. It really is. It's resulted in some paint wear on his face, which is just depressing. It's just sort of that, and there he goes. He's gonna go, yep. I don't know, maybe yours will be okay, maybe mine is just special in some way, but that's why I keep that plastic tray around. I put him in timeout if he keeps falling over. That's just something to keep in mind if you do decide to order this guy. He might have some balancing issues, but if you can lean him up against something or build a stand for him, that is a mild complaint. I mean, overall, this figure more than compensates for the lack of balance. So without further ado, let's get a closer look at this feathered Tyrannosaurus. Starting off at the head, you can see Safari Limited has paid loving detail to all of the little scales and bumps that they have sculpted into this guy. There is not one area of this face unaddressed. They even went so far as to add scarifications, which really gives this dinosaur a badass look. Like, it looks like he's seen some battles, and you don't want to mess with this T-Rex. One thing to note is the inside of the mouth. The paint job in that is a little bit lackluster. It's just this solid pink color. There's no shading or anything like that. No gloss, really, to make it stand out as a wet look. The teeth have been individually sculpted. They are very white, though. They don't look like they've been eating rancid meat or anything like that. So that's a mild nitpick with all of the rest of the detail that was crammed into this guy. Something noteworthy is the fact that they did not just make the feathers end at the neck. As you can see, they sculpted in little grooves and divots where the feathers would continue onto the face. And that is an awesome detail. You see a lovely, lovely eye in there, very well done. The eyes look very attentive. They look like they're alive. It looks like this figure is looking at you, and you just freeze up. I mean, that's not going to do you any good, but you freeze up hoping Sam Neill didn't lie to you, but he did. He really did. Going down the neck, you see some lovely folds and wrinklage on the underside, and at the top, this is probably my favorite part of this entire figure, this lovely crest of feathers going down the neck. It just looks like these things could flare up and act as a threat display if need be. It really is a very, very cool sculptural detail, all of these larger feathers up here. I love it. It's I just love this figure, even for a guy who does not follow feathered T-Rexes. This figure is just incredible. I can't praise it enough. Going down to the midsection there, he does have, small arms. They might be a little too small for my taste. I mean, T-Rex, yeah, small arms, but I can forgive it because all of the bulk and length might be hidden by all this fluffy plumage. So, I mean, they might be more deadly than they look, I mean, on the surface. On both sides, you can see that they have continued with their rigorous amount of detail. And I must say, the way they sculpted this, it's not like your typical picture or imaging of feathers. It's not like chicken feathers or anything. It's like a sort of hairy sort of feather. So it's not like this thing looks like a big chicken by any means. And I can appreciate that. I like the decision to not sculpt literal feathers, but sort of more like hair type feathers. I don't know what the technical term is. I don't study birds or anything like that. But it works. It really does. And they have accentuated the look of these feathers with a very subtle paint job. Like in my light, it's a little more harsh, but as you can see, it gradients from this darker blackish color into the red, down into the yellow. It could have gradiated a little, I don't know if that's a word, gradiated, but they could have done that a little better with that paint job, but again, that's probably just the harshness of my lamp. I mean, when you put this guy on the shelf, it just flows together so nicely, and they added these stripes in here, which is a beautiful, beautiful detail. I love it. Going down the legs, you can tell that these are muscled legs, that you can't see the musculature all that well. It's disguised by the plumage, and that's forgivable. I mean, if you want to make an omelet, you gotta break some eggs, am I right? And into the foot. Now, the feathers stop right above this typical, back scaling area of the foot. I don't know, I guess that's technically part of the ankle or something like that. I'm not a paleontologist, I'm sorry, guys. Anywho, the feet continue with the scaling, the same that you see on the head, and they've got some lovely toe claws, and these larger plate scales here are gorgeous. I mean, they've got some great paint on them. It's beautiful down here. And the same on the other foot with some lovely painting going on. Again, the toe claws and the finger claws, they are painted. They are not really weathered. I do like to see weathering on my claws. And I'm yet to see that on really any figure that comes to my immediate mind. On the underside, you see Safari Limited 2017, all that bookkeeping copyright stuff. It's a little overexposed right now, and I do apologize for that, but that's where you see all of that, and there is more of that scaling going on down there. Now, the feathers do not transition to this underside. They just stop, unlike the head, I just love that detail on the head. And here, it's missing, but it's okay, especially if you're displaying this guy. You can't really see the underside, unless you put him on a high shelf, and even then, you can barely see it. It's just sort of in the back there, I mean, it's a small detail. It really is. Going back down the tail, you've got a very graceful, long, and thick tail. It's very well proportioned to the rest of the animal, as you can see. It flows very nicely. And it's got a great shape. I can't put it any other way. It just looks like this tail is very active. And they painted it with a little white. They added some white back here, which I do like. It doesn't really transition very well, but it is a nice splash of color to see on the back tail, going down all the way into a lovely, swooping, graceful shape. And that's another thing. I gotta say, I love the pose of this figure. It looks like it is actively walking forward. You've got the back feet here. Let me get you a better shot of that here. As you can see, it's like pushing off the ground, and you got the front foot there. The Rex is curved slightly. It's like he's approaching a prey. Oh, there he goes. Yeah, and that's just one downside of this figure. The other thing is, the falling has resulted in some paint loss up towards the front there. You can't really see it on camera, but you can definitely tell in person, like right above the eye, you see that purple, the red crests going on. It's just so unfortunate. It really is. And I don't know why, but also mine has these white specks just going on all the way down it. Like, the paint is just worn. Again, you can't really tell in this lighting. You can kind of see it right there, but it's just a bum deal. I don't know why it's happening, and it's just so sad to me. But other than that, this is a great figure. I really have nothing else to say about this. It's got a great shape, great pose, great detail, great paint job. Safari Limited just knocked this guy out of the park, if you ask my humble opinion. Alright, before we get into measuring this guy, you will note that I have put him back into his tray, and that's because he kept flopping over between our little videos here. So if you do decide to order this figure and don't plan on making a base for him, be sure to keep this. I mean, it just ensures that you can put him on any surface in your house and he will stand up. And again, I don't know if it's just my figure, maybe yours will be perfectly fine with balancing, but my figure does have some issues. I mean, sometimes he's okay, sometimes he really is, but other times he will not stand up to save his life. But enough of that. Let's see just how big this figure is. We'll bring in our trusty dusty ruler here. So from the tip of the snout all the way back to the tail, you're looking at right around a foot long, which is a pretty decent length. And from the base all the way to the top of the highest point, which is going to be the neck, you're looking at right around 5.5 inches tall. This is a great size figure, and we're going to bring in some other models to see some size comparison. Now, I do not have any other new for 2017 Safari Limited figures, so we're just going to bring in some other figures that were recently reviewed on the channel instead. Hopefully in the near future we will be getting some of those Safari Limited figures and be taking a closer look at them. But for now, this is what we got. Deal with it. Here he is, next to the new for 2017 Papo Velociraptor, who also seems to be having troubles balancing, so maybe it really is just my setup. But you can see how these two size up next to each other. They're not in scale with each other, even by Jurassic Park standards, because, you know, this isn't really the most scientifically accurate Velociraptor. But they do look good together. You know, you can display them together if you'd like. Next, we have the recently reviewed Carnegie Tyrannosaurus Rex, and as you can see, the Safari Limited is much taller and much longer than this figure. I will put a link in the description for this figure's review, and I do have some issues with this figure. If I was going to say buy one of these, I would definitely say go for this guy, the Safari Limited version, skip this guy. But if you want to know all about this guy, check out that other video. I won't get into that now. And of course, one of my all-time favorite figures, it is the Papo squatting T.Rex green version. As you can see, he is taller than the Safari Limited version, but they do display nicely together because you can have a feathered version and a scaly version. You know, two different ideas of the same species. It's pretty cool seeing them on the shelf with each other. And if you do decide to get the Safari Limited figure or the Papo squatting T.Rex, they do look good together. It really is cool, believe me, seeing them in person, the two different ideas. Now, usually at this point in the review, I would place a banana on the display table, just so you guys could get an idea of how this sizes up to a banana. But I guess I was on a banana crave this week, and I ate all the bananas in my house. So in lieu of that, we have a can of Campbell's soup. So you can see just how this sizes up to a can of soup. In case you don't have any other dinosaur figures, this would be your first. Go on down to your kitchen, grab yourself a can of soup, and just see how big this would look next to it. And that concludes our look at the new for 2017 Safari Limited Feathered Tyrannosaurus Rex. Overall, I'm going to give this figure an 8.5 out of 10. It is just so great and so close to being perfect. It really is. But it is plagued with balancing issues, some paint problems here and there. But again, that might just be mine. I don't know. You'll have to let me know in the comments below. Do you own this figure? Does yours have balancing problems or any paint issues? Let me know below. Also tell me if you're planning on picking it up. Because honestly, if you're going to get one figure from the new 2017 lineup from Safari Limited, it should be this guy. I mean, he is just incredible. There's no two ways about it. Even with some of his issues, he is still great. As always, I hope you liked this video. If you did, don't be afraid to hit that like button and subscribe. And we will see you in the next review.